couple of the tunes that we played. The recording is back on. I'm going to go drag Shane into live on air, and we're going to get the Steem Growth Forum going again. I have at least 20 minutes that will be here. I will extend this longer if folks want to keep talking. Anybody that is interested in speaking, now is the time to go hop into the MSP Waves waiting room, check your audio. And Shane, or Swelker 101, hopefully you're live on air with me. Can you hear my voice?
I can definitely hear your voice. How are you doing, Aggie?
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to have you here. Shane is a witness. He's not one of the top 50 witnesses, so you have to plug in Swelker 101 below the top 50 line there. But he's also one of the senior moderators that's part of the Minnow Support Project. He's been here since, I think, he was in here like the first day that we opened this thing up to the public, and he's been here ever since. So Shane, what do you want to talk about? How can this platform grow? What do we need to do? And I'm going to put you on, I think, a 3-minute timer here.
No, that's perfectly fine. One of the things that I see, we do have the issue with the content consumers versus content producers. I would definitely like to see the slider come in effect for minnows when they first come on. I think that's going to help them understand how to curate better, how to work the platform better, and also give them a feeling that, because the first thing you do is you vote when you come on. Next thing you know is you have no power and your votes are worth nothing. So I think having that slider on there would just give them that little bit of incentive that they can learn how to curate, give them incentive to keep going so that they don't feel like they're worth nothing. That's one thing I like to see for some growth when people first come on. I think that would go a long way to help new people retain onto the platform.
Yeah, we'll see if that becomes possible with the new hard fork. Currently, you start running out of you like get bandwidth errors because you don't have enough bandwidth to actually post. If your voting power is already only at 6 Steem, and then you have low voting power percent, you might not actually make it onto the blockchain. Although it seems like they're removing some of those thresholds that are coming in the next hard fork, which should be HF20. So we'll see. I actually don't know what that'll look like in practice, and maybe it's possible that you can make more votes and not be stalled for your number of votes, or have it just totally deplete your voting power. I mean, that's part of the reason why back in the day I argued against going from 40 votes to 10 votes, is that it seemed to not be beneficial to minnow networking.
Exactly. And people, like I said, people love to vote immediately. So you give them 10 votes and all of a sudden they're down, and they don't understand the 10 votes when they first come on. So some sort of change I'd like to see there. That was my idea coming on. Besides that, I want to thank everyone for popping in. This has been pretty busy. We have a ton of shows on MSP Waves. We do a lot of this radio stuff here, and we have a lot of good programs just like this. So if you guys could pass the word, we would appreciate you coming in and visiting us more often.
Yeah, and we're looking for DJs too. So I should go put in a quick call while you said that. The show is actually hosted by Globocop and at Rondon, and they have a team of people that help them. But the two people that are leaders for the Minnow Support or the MSP Waves radio station are Globocop and Rondon. So Rondon's been in here doing technical audio things since the beginning, since before the show started, and Globocop has been helping us out too. So thank you to everybody that's part of the MSP Waves radio station, because we wouldn't have this forum if we didn't have them running servers and them training people and getting folks on here. And thank you for that work. So that's what I got for time for us. Shane, do you want to give a closing thought on sort of Steem growth and where we need to head?
Yeah, the only thought I have is I have started Minnow University, which is supposed to help teach minnows how to do things properly so that they don't have to count on the spam to make money on here. So besides that, thanks for having this, Agrod. I appreciate it.
Yeah, why don't you put your the link to the Discord for the Minnow University into the chat, and hopefully folks can head over there and learn what they need to learn.
Absolutely. We're still building. Once again, thanks, Aggie.
Yeah, I'm going to go pull Globocop on here. Shane, I'm going to trust that you're able to pop out of the live on air channel because you're still in it. So, Global Cop, you and Rondon are two of the people that are actually helping to run the MSP Waves radio station. To me, I think this radio station, this streaming internet thing of both music and talk, and we can even do live shows and broadcasts of like a full screen presentation, or we could do like movies and whatever else we need to do. I think that's going to be sort of the future of, and it's one of the reasons why I personally have invested in this and try to help get it running. But I'd like to welcome one of the key station managers at Global Cop, and maybe you can talk to us about how MSP Waves Radio can help the Steem platform grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Actually, Main Event suggested I come on, and I took the opportunity to do just that. Ron is a little bit tired. He's been up for God knows how many hours. And Ron acts as the technology officer, really chief officer, and I'm taking care of more of the operations. And together we have a great team with us for Steem It. It means we are able to bring in communities to let their voices be heard. We have shows on with all kinds of subject matters, and it draws in all kinds of different people. We have music shows, we have talk shows, we have interviews such as Main Events, for example. Rondon has a free speech show. I have 3 different shows. I co-host one, have 2 others. And there is a great opportunity to bring in more folks, even from outside, and not just stay within the MSP community, but perhaps in the long run branch out and let our stream be heard on stations like Tune In or something like that, and really being able to have our stream available while you're driving wherever, to the supermarket or to work if you still have a regular job. And I think there's a great growth opportunity for us to advertise for Steem It and to bring people in. So we are currently always on the lookout for new DJs, not only from within the Steem It community, but from outside, for subject matter experts, to bring them into Steem It and through Steem It into MSP, and them then hopefully bringing their community with it. So that's really the plan from a MSP Waves Radio point of view.
And my hope is, like I mentioned with block trades, my hope is to get not only the Steem Growth Forum, but I want to go do a crypto growth forum and try to bring folks from as many different areas, and hopefully the audience will open up their network and help us drag folks from other communities into here and use Steem as a central repository and communication vessel for how all of these new growth and new areas are going to talk to one another, interact, and share their stories and share their growth. So
absolutely. On this stage, I'd like to mention Cubby Elizabeth. She is our newest quote unquote hire. And she is one of those people. She's in a marketing position within MSP Waves Radio, because one of her strengths is obviously to socialize and to bring in new communities. I had a long chat with her yesterday, and that's exactly where her strength lies. So welcome, Cubby Elizabeth, to the team. We are so blessed to have you.
Yeah, I adore her. She's phenomenal. Okay, so we're just about out of time. If you got one last thought you'd like to share.
Well, I'd like to thank each and every one of the listeners who comes to these various shows. You're great folks. The uniqueness of having the interaction and the video live option should be really taken serious by those who consider coming on a show.
Yeah, if you guys are creating content, we got a way for it to be broadcast out to the world and replayed and put on Twitch, and we can, like we're doing now, we can record anything that you're doing and save it for later, put it in a post. There's a lot Absolutely. That the MSP Waves radio station, and it's not just a radio station. I mean, it can be full video too, but our streaming internet station can go help this community, and so I'm excited by that. Lobo,
thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. That's our 3 minutes together. I'm going to go. You can pull yourself into a different channel. From here on out, it looks like there's maybe 8 or so other people that are going to be part of this. If this is your last chance to sort of organize, and if you want to talk, please go hop into the MSP Waves waiting room. And I'm just going to go in alphabetical order from here on out. So I'm going to pull in Cervantes or P. Cargo. P. Cargo, you're on air. Cervantes, can you hear me? Can you speak?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Well, fantastic. The audience is currently listening to the Steem Growth Forum. This is on MSP Waves Radio. The person talking right now is one of the top 20 witnesses, Agrode, and I have with me Cervantes, who's on the platform as P Cargo. So, hopefully, maybe I'm saying that incorrectly. How do I pronounce that?
Yes, well, my name is Pablo, so...
Okay, I'll go with Pablo. So, Pablo, what brings you on? How do you want to talk about growth? What's important to you? Where does this platform need to head?
Yes, first, let me introduce myself. I'm, as you know already, I'm running the Witness Cervantes, and we are right now on the top 28. And I'm Spanish born, and we have been running the Cervantes Witness since 1 year more or less, and we're trying to promote the Spanish language throughout the network, growing through curation and through different projects like competitions, like meetups, like also online radios and so on, all focused on Spanish content. So yes, and I think one of the main points to bring people on board, I think it was also mentioned in one of the panels last week in Lisbon. It was the fact that the people need to be in the platform because of the experience, not only because of the rewards. So they need to want to go into the social network for communicating, for commenting, for making pictures, for doing chats, audio connections, and so on. Not just only because they are rewarded. As long as we don't have such kind of user interface where the people really want to stay there because it's actually a useful tool, then I think it will be very difficult to grow as a platform and a social network. Yes.
So how do we make us as appealing as possible to non-English speaking communities? How do we make this a better place? I agree that having this be a worldwide phenomena is a good thing for the platform. What do you see that we need? What is it? Just curation? Is it a Steemit website interface changes? What do you think are the number one things that are holding people back, and what can we as a community of people do to invite others here?
Yes, of course. So if you are focusing to Spanish content, Spanish users, you need of course Spanish content. And if you want Spanish content to be created, of course you need to be able to reward Spanish authors, and to be able to reward Spanish authors, you need able to have high stake whales which are able to vote Spanish authors, or to trust someone else, like we do, to be able to focus the Steem power to be able to create then Spanish reading content.
Well, I can tell you, we have, I mentioned this before, but we have MSP3K. It's a community tool that you can have a central account. You can allow multiple people without handing them the posting key, the ability to go curate from it. And if you can get a whale to go delegate to that, then you could have a central account where people could go curate Spanish content, and it's a free and open source code. It's on a GitHub repository, and we also host it internally at the Minnow Support Project. So if you and I would like to talk later offline, I can start giving you some tools to help that community experience exactly as you're describing it. I don't have a million SP lying around, but certainly the tool to help you share that, I can help you.
That's great. So that could be a good way to begin collaborating between these two projects, because I see you have quite interesting things running out here. We have also Discord server with about 2,000 users right now, so it's quite exciting, and we are doing quite well. So
that's fantastic.
Yes.
All right. Well, you've been listening to Cervantes. Cervantes is one of the top 20 or top 30 witnesses on the platform. He's representing in part the Spanish community. It was wonderful to have him on the Steem Growth Forum. Cervantes, I'm going to move you back into the MSP Waves rating room, and it looks like Dr. Dave is the next person on the list. So, Dr. Dave, I've dragged you into the live on-air chat. I have a timer ready. Can you at least just give me a quick audio to let me know that you're here and able to speak?
My mic.
All right, I can hear you. So, Dr. Dave, you're live on the Steem Growth Forum. Why don't you tell me what you want to see for growth and how we can make that happen, and what are your priorities for this platform?
From what I've heard so far, I like the moving more toward the curation than anything else. I think that's part of what's causing a lot of the problems. That and obviously bots, but I think the it was brought up earlier. I don't know by who, but to move the curation more back toward the 50-50 ratio than what it is right now.
Yeah, there. When I looked through the Steemit blog post this morning, there were a number of people that were putting that on there. You know, I get worried about there's a lot of self-voting that happens in comments. So if you start doing really heavy curation, you might actually be incentivizing whales to abuse the system by upvoting themselves in comments even more. So I get a little nervous about that, but I can certainly see how rewarding curation goes a long way to helping people feel incentivized to participate, not just by authoring, but by commenting and interacting with the posts that are put out there.
And you know, I had made a comment earlier on more or less the Steemit white paper, where it shows, you know, if people lose faith in the system, they're gonna give up and walk away, basically. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot of, self included. I've become very frustrated with the way things are. Not quite enough to walk away completely, but you know, looking for a change, basically.
Yeah, getting started on this platform is not easy. It's one of the reasons why I started the Minnow Support Project, and one of the goals is to retain people. And one of the best ways that I found to do it is to build a community around folks so that, you know, it's not just all about, did my post earn more than 15 cents today, but it's about, are people giving me good strategies? Are they helping me learn? Are there people I'm interacting with and having fun and telling jokes with? Like, what else? That community aspect is a big part of this. So, and that's in part because it's hard to get started here.
Absolutely.
So what else can we do to make it easier for minnows or brand new accounts to get going on the platform?
I couldn't even tell you as far as making changes. I'm not a coder. I'm not in that realm. All I can say is what works for me, and that really is to be determined. You know, I can't really say.
Okay. Well, I think that's just about all the time that we have. Thank you for coming on here, Dr. Dave. It's great to
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak my piece.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to pull you out of here. I'm going to put you back into the MSP Waves waiting room, and then actually further push you into the general talk. The next person I have here is Ellie. Ellie, I have you on air. This is being recorded and will go live. So Ellie, are you ready to speak? You're choosing to participate here?
I am, yes. How are you?
I'm all right. It's great to hear your voice. We have you. You're a member of the Minnow Support Project. I've run into you a couple times as @Valentine. You've recently gone with your Steemit username, Ellie. Ellie, it's great to have you here. What are the things that you want to talk about in terms of how we can make the Steem platform grow, and what's important to you?
Quite a bit. The first thing I really want to touch on is that I think the entire problem is structured incorrectly. So you have this idea of content creators and content consumers, and I can't speak for anyone else, but I don't think most people would want to be considered a consumer. So when you think how to bring in content consumers, then you switch it to something like curators, but that's a bit more distant. It's very user unfriendly. When you talk about social media, there's two aspects, which are social and media. People obviously go to social media to socialize and to see new media. So I think that the biggest issue would be to make the interface more user friendly so that people are able to just kind of come and relax. And let me just see this. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so when you look at steemit.com, if you're not a registered user, what you see is money talks. Your voice is worth something. it pays you to post and curate. And that kind of sells you on this idea that your voice is worth something monetarily, which means if you're not making that money, it subconsciously makes you think your voice is not worth something. Money talks. If you don't have money, are you talking? So this entire focus on the aspect of making money and seeing the US dollar amounts, it's a global community. You're showing US dollar amounts for a global community. That really distances people from the idea that they're coming to enjoy themselves, that we as content creators, it's our burden to sell our product and to make people enjoy it, not to tell them they'll get paid to enjoy it. No, they should enjoy it because we're giving it to them. Our reward is to get paid if we do a good job, but we need to really focus on making them enjoy themselves, not tell them they'll get paid to read.
So within the Minnow Support Project, the people in the moderator pit would recognize me saying this phrase quite frequently of that is a bit of a complaint, and what I'd like you to do is to elevate that complaint to a request. And the difference between a complaint and a request is, hey, here's this thing I don't like, or here's this thing I'm frustrated by, and here is the alternative that I'm presenting. So the complaint is just the first part of that. The thing that elevates it up to a request is adding the second piece of, here is what it should be. So instead of something like money talks, if that's sending the wrong message, what would be the right message? What should we be promoting to new users, not only on the Steemit homepage, but as we move past that to the conversations we're having? What should we be telling to folks?
Absolutely. I'll try to keep it short. First of all, I'm about to submit an idea to Utopian to redesign the interface to make it more focused on people's specific interests so that they can integrate both the people they're following as well as new and trending on the tag when they actually click the tag, which I think will actually help a lot because that integrates the social aspect with the interest and the media aspect together in one click. And just to keep it short, aside from that, your voice is worth something, definitely. But when you think about a word like decentralization, it's a very technical term. And when you tell most people decentralization, they look at you and don't know what you're talking about. But when you tell them, it's not corporate controlled, something like that. So when you talk to people, you can focus on that. But when you just say your voice is worth something and not put a dollar amount to that, then that would kind of give that idealistic impression that we are actually taking the power back to our own voice without judging us based on how much we earn for it.
All right. Well, you've been listening to Ellie Vale. Is it Ellie Vale or Ellie Valley?
It's Valley. It's short for Valentine. So. Okay.
Well, you're listening to Ellie Valley. It's wonderful to have you come on. Thank you for sharing your views. I'm going to move on next. This is going to be Azaria. Azaria is a full moderator that's part of the Minnow Support Project. She is a music creator. She is a constant show host. She co-hosts the Peace Academy with me, and she's quite frankly one of my favorite Steemians on the platform. So, Azaria, are you there?
Hi, how are you?
It's wonderful to have you. This is the Steem Growth Forum, so what do we need to do to help the Steem ecosystem grow?
Well, Ellie made some good points there. Getting started isn't easy. I love the Minnow Support Project to help people, so it's a sense of community here, and one of my favorite aspects is the MSP waves. So I just wanted to talk about a couple of the shows that we do to help out creative users. We have the Steemit Creative Show on Sunday night, and people can send me their creative posts and I will promote them during the show. And we also, Minnow Support also started recently our curation team. So we've been curating, and we also have the Steemit Musicians Open Mic that I host with Crystal, and we do that on Sunday night as well, where we promote the open mic musicians.
Okay. So you have me in your speakers somehow. Are you wearing a headset, Azaria?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hook them up quickly.
You're busted. Okay. So besides kind of tuning in and submitting some things to the radio shows, which I do actually think helps. I mean, you get some listeners, for somebody that doesn't have as many followers as you, if they're able to go get their content on your page and you're putting it out or re-steaming it, I think that actually makes a pretty big difference. This entire Minnow support thing exists because Kaylin Art went and started re-steaming some of my posts, and I saw just how quickly that could help me grow. So when the larger accounts are re-steaming and helping the smaller accounts grow, it's a pretty big deal. It makes for a drastically different experience when you've like literally had one re-steam able to double your number of followers. So you can go on the radio. What are some other ways that minnows can get noticed? How else can we help them, and how else can we kind of retain people on this platform?
Well, I would love to see more minnows join the Minnow Support Project. So any way that we can get people to join this group, because it's really such a great sense of community. We have so many channels. We have so many radio shows, and people can, just like this, can come on the radio and talk about it. We have the Peace Academy show where basically we're talking about the ideas of Steem It and peace, abundance, and liberty that you and I do. And we do that on Saturday nights, and users are welcome to come on and say how they feel about things. And basically, I would say to try to get re-steams, we have the Minnow Support Re-Steam Contest. We have that every week.
Yeah, we've certainly created a platform or like a little community project here that is a great tool to go help brand new people on the platform figure out a way, get an audience, make some new friends, and there are a variety of ways that folks around here can get involved.
Right. And you know what? The main thing that I really want, I hope that I can get, is more people to send me stuff for the creative show, because we have so many amazingly talented people on Steem It, musicians, artists, writers, and I really want to help promote them. And I really don't have that many followers. So, I put out the post every week, but, it's hard to get a lot of submissions. So
no.
Any way that we could get more submissions to help our creative users, it's really what I want to help them out.
All right. Well, that's awesome. You've been listening to Azaria. Thank you, Azaria, for coming on the show. I'm going to drag you off of here. I'm going to go bring in Kenny. It's either Kenny BLL or Kenny Bowl. I'm not quite sure which. You're on a server. No, you have personally muted yourself. Kenny, if you could take yourself off of mute, then I can. Yeah. Can you say hello?
Hello.
Hey, there we go. I can hear you loud and clear. So, Kenny, you are on the Steem Growth Forum. You're on MSP Waves Radio, and you're talking to Top 20 Witness Agrode. So go ahead, and how can we help this platform grow? How can we do that?
One thing that I talked to Tim Cliff the other day was about, well, he gave me the idea of a marketplace. So one thing I would like to see is, I've heard of Pay with Steem, but the more of an idea of like an eBay type of thing, that, you can pay with Steem and steamed back dollars. And I think that'd be really cool to have, because then people that are on the platform have something that they can get physically, without like exchanging to money or like changing to Bitcoin and then to, US dollar or whatnot. Not something more like Amazon, but, something where people can, put up stuff that they want to sell and then other people can buy it. And, something, that I also want to see is, with an escrow type thing. I know there's an escrow functionality into Steem It, or not Steem It, but Steem, the cryptocurrency. But one thing would be nice is on Steem It to add that, so even if people if there's not a separate platform or website to do this stuff on, then we are able to still have an agent, which is what it's called, where we can then pay someone for something, but it's also takes a while to get the stuff to you, and then you can release the funds.
Yeah. Having the more things that we can do to help people financially, and have different tools and different approaches, I think will go a long way to helping this platform. At times, I think I hear almost some anti-business attitudes, and I'm not sure that they're quite helpful to what we're trying to build here. I think anything from pay with Steem is great. I can't find it right this second, but there is sort of like an eBay shop that's part of Steem. And yeah, services like an escrow or basically any kind of financial service that you can currently get now with US dollars or government fiat dollars. I would love to see those services be something that's part of the crypto space, and specifically the Steem crypto space. Yeah, the Steem It shop is one of them. So there are websites that you can already do this, and frankly, right now, Pay with Steem lets you go through Amazon, and so you could do an Amazon wish list and pay directly in Steem and SBD. That's about as close to converting your crypto into real world goods in one click as I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So you get one last thought. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Kenny?
Just want to thank you, everyone, my followers and people that upvoted my stuff. As a minnow, it's kind of hard to, get a lot of people to read your content. But for those that have, just thank you.
All right. So you were just listening to Kenny. I'm going to pull Kenny off of the show. I'm going to go add. It looks like my next one up here, I actually just moved my mouse, so give me a second here to find myself. I'm going to pull Kenny out of here. Cubby Elizabeth. Cubby Elizabeth is another one of the MSP moderators. And Cubby Elizabeth, can you just give me a quick mic check to show that you're up and running?
Hello, friends.
All right. Well, this is Cubby Elizabeth. She is by far the most enthusiastic Steemian I know of. Cubby, you, along with Rosaria, you're one of my favorite people on this entire platform. You bring so much energy and enthusiasm. You are a constant advocate, not only for the Minnow Support Project, but also for Steem as a community. Thank you for coming on here. I've started our timer. And how can we help Steem grow? What do we need to do?
Thank you, Aggie. And what I wanted to chat about was we've heard a lot from different people who are here, who are coming on with different initiatives and different ideas and different thoughts on what we can do to make the platform grow and better. But I also want to remind everyone to not forget who's already on here. I think if we join hands and work collectively together towards that common goal and lean on each other and the different initiatives that we already have in place, we can also not only bring people onto the platform, but we can retain them on here as well. As you can notice with some of the platforms, they'll have a huge growth and they'll pop and they'll have plenty of people join. And then we'll have some people who'll come and go and we can't always figure out why. Without purpose, there's no point in staying. So I think connecting people to people and people to projects and people to community, collectively, we can all reach that common goal. And that way, next year, when we all go to Steem It and we're all hanging out, it won't be one person talking about a project that's not connected to anyone or anything, but it'll be one project that's collectively about Steem It. How
do we do that? We have the Minnow Support Project, and that's one way, but how do we bridge that gap between people with projects and people with needs? How do we help folks find one another in this relatively large ecosystem? I mean, and we're only at 450,000 accounts. It's only going to get harder. So how do we make this thing work better?
Well, every project, if you look at it, has a very common theme, and that's helping. Either helping improve, helping to implement, helping to change, helping to collaborate. And so if we lean on one another for what our strengths are, so minnows come here to kind of get that extra boost and make some connections and networking with other people. Then we have different servers that focus strictly on writing, that focus strictly on speaking, that focus strictly on sharing ideas, that focus on crypto. So that's how we connect each other with it. We find what our interests are and we align them with one another, and we support each other with it. We talk a lot about the MSP waves and the different DJs that we have, and they all have a very common theme of helping people learn and grow in one shape or form, and they happen to do it on this platform. Not to say that this is the only platform they can do it, but this is one where they can start and lean people here, and then once they have another idea that would be better supported on a different Discord, they move on from there, but they don't forget where they came from or where they started, and it kind of helps navigate from one to the other. So I think the best way to do that is to collectively help one another from it. So with Tim Cliff's idea of sharing ideas, Tim is awesome at creating posts that bring discussion. And he wants to know what everyone is thinking, where is everyone's head at. And then he kind of navigates from there, but he never forgets to include everyone's thoughts and opinions and kind of navigate from the resources he already has before creating new ones. And I think that's ultimately how we're going to bring everyone together, because we all kind of know each other in some shape or form. And we all come together for different ideas to help one another as well. So regardless of what separate projects we have, if we don't forget the people that are already here and the strengths they have, we can do this all together.
Well, that sounds awesome and perfectly timed. Do you have one last closing thought to share on Steem Growth, or just anything you'd like to share in general?
That's about it. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Oh, man. It's so wonderful to have her on here. I feel like I'm 38 now. I am not as enthusiastic as Cubby is.
Not yet.
Thank you for sharing that. All right, so I'm pulling Cubby off of here. I'm pulling Saipan Damashi in, or Rodeo 67. Saipan, you are on the Steem Growth Forum. I'm the host, Agrode, and it is wonderful to have you here. From what I know of you, you are a veteran, and you have been part of the Minnow Support Project for a couple of weeks now. You're relatively new to Steem. So come tell us your experience as a new Steemian, and what do we need to help this place grow?
It's been...
Oh, Saipan, you're cutting out. Try again.
All right, can you hear me?
I can.
All right, yeah, it's been like a really great experience so far. I've only been on for about 5 weeks, but one of the things I've kind of noticed that we can do to try to help it grow is to come up with a way to explain Steem It to people at like a really basic layperson level. Because every friend that I've tried to explain it to, as much as I've tried to break everything down, they're still so lost and so confused. And I don't know if there's a way to explain it to people by breaking it down more, because I feel like everything that I try to explain to people is like vital information about the platform that people need to understand.
Yeah, maybe something just as simple as it's a blog mixed with a cryptocurrency. Is something like that what you're looking for?
Possibly, but then that opens up a whole nother can of worms with you having to explain what cryptocurrency is, and like, because I show my friends my earnings all the time, to tell them like this is real. You can be your creative self and get rewarded for it. Like I emphasize that it's not about the money; it's just about expressing yourself, and the money is a nice added bonus. But they still have so many questions that I myself don't really know how to answer that yet.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I was thinking about hosting these kind of Tupperware style parties where you can go get 20 of your friends together, and I'd be happy to go host like some kind of 30-minute thing with you guys and do that as a public service, as a witness with a publicly recorded radio station to go sort of like broadcast that experience and get folks on here and talk to them, and they can ask questions, and other people that have those same questions might be able to answer it. So maybe you become one of my first persons or people that we try to do this with, where you can gather some friends that are skeptical about this giant scam of Steem, and then hopefully we can put some of those questions to bed and show them how they can be successful and get them up and running.
That would be awesome, actually.
Well, count me in. I'll go do that. So you just tell me a day or an evening time that you'd like to try to do that, and go be my guinea pig, and we'll find out like what is it that they need to know. And I've tried posting some orientation posts and orientation videos to try to help train new people on what is Steem It and what is Steem and how does this whole thing work, because it's complicated. And part of this is that the new user experience, not only is it visually a little bit challenging to get used to, but it's using Markdown, and that's different, and it has 3 currencies, not just one, and that's different. And there is a steep learning curve, and I don't really know many other ways than going person by person, lesson by lesson, chat by chat, to try to help people understand how this place works. And as an educator, that's one of the things I'm willing to do. What could we do that would make that easier? What do you think, Saipan?
Man, honestly, I honestly don't know, because there's so many like videos out there too that try to explain everything. But even when I show those videos to my friends, they're still like, oh my God, I still don't get it. Like, So I honestly don't know, but that's why I came on here to try to get that, get that out there. And maybe somebody that's listening, knows how to explain things a lot easier and a lot better, and they can come up with that.
Well, maybe we need, that's part of why I think Shane or Swelker 101 is doing his Minnow University. That's part of why this place goes. That's part of why Tim Cliff is sitting in Steam Help all the time. I think it's a real challenge. It's a real challenge to onboarding people, is to get them up to speed. And there's a lot of stuff you got to learn to sort of live and act differently through Steam. But once you get here, there are a ton of benefits. So it's how do we communicate that? How do we bring people on? And I think those are real challenges, and we're not going to solve it in 3 minutes, but it's certainly worth the discussion.
Oh, absolutely. I will say this, though. Even with all these problems that we're having of like trying to onboard people and bring as many people onto the platform, I have full confidence that this platform is going to explode, and it's going to take someday.
Yeah. I think $10 Steam is going to be a reality. It's a question of when, not a question of if. I think there's too many smart people on here. I think there's too many clever creators. I think there's too many people that write good content and have a good mind and can program all kinds of crazy things. So it's just a matter of time and getting the word out, as opposed to, I don't think this thing's ever going to make it.
Right.
All right. Well, Saipan, thank you for coming on the show. I'm going to go pull you back into the general audience room. I have 2 more speakers, and then I guess I'll wrap this up. We're running about 20 minutes late already. So, Menno, you're going to be my second to last speaker, and then I'll try to close up with a couple thoughts here. But so, Menno, can you just give me a quick voice check to make sure that you can hear and talk?
Hello.
All right.
I can hear you perfect.
Great. You sound awesome. So, Menno, you're one of the Minnows that are part of the Minnow Support Project. I've seen you interacting in this Discord room all the time. You're writing on the block. From your perspective, having more recently joined and still going through the struggles of having a relatively small SP count, how do we cater to you? How do we grow this platform? What do you need to be successful? Those are some of the questions I got.
I'm really glad that you're having this conversation. I'm glad I got to listen to a lot of people's opinions. But at the same time, I love the fact that you said, well, we can identify the problem, but we have to come up with a solution, and at least, not just stop there, not just identifying it. And I want to invite everybody who's listening to me right now to do like a little challenge. I think this could be something fantastic. I know I'm going to sound really cheesy, like I'm one of those dudes that likes reading those inspirational memes, but please bear with me. I heard a long time ago, and it's something that we should take it to heart, that you have to be the change you want to see. So with that in mind, I don't think I'm out of place when I say that maybe, just maybe, we should take it upon ourselves to invite a friend. And maybe, just maybe, why don't we start a new tag for Steam and say, that could be it, actually. Invite a friend. And the idea of that new tag would be, this week, who did you talk to about Steam It? Who did you try to bring on board? And kind of guide them by the hand, so that not only are you, of course, bringing people to the platform, which eventually will make Steam go to the moon and we could talk all the Lambos we want then, but also you can develop a network of people that love you, that support you, because of course we're not going to invite people that that we don't like or that we don't think can bring value to the platform. So that's my little challenge I'm going to put out there, because especially if you're a minnow like me, I have very little SP. I can give you 10 cents, but I'm really proud of my 10 cents if I vote you. But you know what I can do? I can find 10 people. I can find 10 musicians in my community that are great, and I can bring them over, and we can support each other. We can, get into contests. We can do all these things, and I won't have 10 cents in a month or two. Maybe I'll have 20. Maybe I'll have 30. But it's exponential. So that's what I wanted to put out there for everybody. That's the challenge.
I like this idea. Invite a friend, I think, is pretty good. If we can make that a tag, one of the thoughts I've had for a while is that we have like part of the Steam It blog post, there were lots of people saying we need a referral system. Well, this is actually a pretty easy referral system to implement. You just put in refer a friend, talk about the people that you're bringing to the platform. So maybe somebody makes an introduce yourself post, and maybe you follow that up with a invite a friend post, or vice versa. And now ideally Wales will track that and say, I will pay you for your service of bringing new people to this platform, and that is a valuable service. And this way we can kind of crowdsource it. Menno, I think that's a pretty solid idea, and I hope that folks take hold of the invite a friend tag, and hopefully Wales will start purposely curating that. And if you put together a post on it, and hopefully it's a couple posts on it, that I'm happy to steam those to my 65 or 6,600 followers. And who knows, maybe we can get not only use some cash for this, but really create an open source way that we can grow this platform.
I love it, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up to you, because I knew it would be the kind of initiative that would be close to your heart. That's exactly why, there's PAL, that's MSP, that's the whole mission of this platform. So, with that being said, what do we want to do? We want to put seeds on the ground of that fertile way of thinking. We're here to help out people. We're here to grow together, and why not bring the people that we know are going to bring value?
Yeah, I think these conversations have to happen at the water cooler, at work,
Exactly.
in the stadiums when you're watching your football games, when you're you're at family, you got to go sit down and say, hey, let me tell you about this thing called Steem. And if we all start doing that, that'll be great. But if we really want people to do it, we have to provide leadership and incentive. So the leadership of this can be just as simple as creating a tag that's invite a friend, and you have my support on trying to spread that, and providing incentive. I mean, I'm technically a whale, but I've delegated 47,000 Steem to minnow related projects or new member related projects, so I can't upvote. But we got a room full of people that are pretty passionate about this entire ecosystem, so hopefully they'll chime in and say, you know what, I can go help curate out of invite a friend, and let's go pay people through their posts to go bring new Steemians on. And I think that sounds healthy.
Awesome.
All
I
right.
love it.
Well, Menno, thank you for being here. I'm going to take, this is the last person that we'll welcome onto the show, and then I'll close with a couple thoughts here. Yab, you've been really patient here. Maybe Yab doesn't want to go on the show. Yab, here's one last, he keeps moving back. So maybe he's just sitting in the waiting room. Oh, let me try one last time. He took off his mute.
Can you hear me?
Yab, I can hear you. It's great to have you on the show. You're the last caller here, so you got a heavy responsibility. So
last but not least, I hope.
You're on the Steem Growth Forum on MSP Waves Radio as part of the Peace, Abundance, and Liberty Network. So how can we grow this platform? You and I have never spoken before, so I don't know much about you. But what can we do? What do we need to be working on?
Sure. I'll start with a quick introduction. So going off what Tim Cliff said, I'm an investor that hopes to be active and help make my investment grow. I've put in about $15,000 of my own money. It's not, unfortunately, from any Bitcoin gains or anything like that, just from working. And I hope to put in a bunch more in the future. And so, I'm here and I want to make that investment grow, and I want to help Steem.
So what made you want to invest? What makes this platform attractive to you as an investor? Why here? And then what do we need to do to attract more folks like you?
Yeah, why here? It's really a very simple reason. I think most cryptocurrencies, they're either all just based on speculation, or if they have a use, they're not really used for it yet. There's a plan in the future maybe. But Steem is one that it's really used by everyone talking here. Like, everyone uses Steem. We spend it. We use it to vote. We use it to post everything. So it has the most utility of any of the cryptocurrencies I've seen right now. And I think that's what's going to drive value in the future once the speculation bubble ends. Then it's going to go to which ones are actually used. So that's why I've chosen Steem.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that the number of people is related to the goods and services. The more people you have, the more goods and services. Therefore, the higher the valuation you can get for your currency. And I'm pretty certain that this is a well-positioned cryptocurrency. It is currently my only investment in crypto. And, I could go put some money in Bitcoin or something, but I don't really like or trust them. I like and trust Steem. But it can't just be you and I and a handful of others. How do we find more people that believe in this mission? How do we get them to invest and see this as a good investment, especially when, they can't just walk down to, I was thinking Ernst and Young. I mean Edward Jones. You can't walk
Right.
down to Edward Jones and tell your local, hey, I want to go buy $15,000 worth of Steem. They don't know how to do that. The investment people don't know how. I'm not even sure that I want them to know. So how do we find the folks and bring them into crypto and into the space and teach them that their money isn't only safe, but quite frankly, it's safer in here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I think that will start. You don't jump right into that, right? So if we grow the community in a lot of the ways that people here before me that we're talking have mentioned, then the price of Steem will start to grow. The footprint of Steem will start to grow as projects like Utopian, et cetera, get promoted outside of the Steem network. It'll all start to grow. And as that happens, the growth will hopefully snowball. Is that my time already? Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty short, but take another minute or two if you need.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is my main point I wanted to make was that, we've talked a lot about how to get new users into the platform, but I also think we need to focus on how to get new money into the platform. With all the users, the price is not going to go up unless people are buying Steem. So people might know me, if anyone knows me here, for the bot tracker website. And the reason that I put that together is because I think that's a great way for minnows specifically to kind of get started here, which is what we've been talking about a little bit. How do you get started? And I think if minnows can put in a little bit of money, it's not a lot, even, maybe $10 or something, which may be a lot some places. But if they can do that, they can kind of use the voting bots to try to kickstart their content. And if it's good content, that'll grow. They'll grow followers. They'll get their money back and more. So it's kind of a way to help minnows get more money into Steem and help them be successful and kind of kickstart their growth.
Well, I can tell you, I personally believe that. I run the BidBot Love Juice, which does
Right.
that. It's meant to just be this little minnow upvoter that, it's hard. It's hard when you only have 50 followers to go get any love on your posts. And if the only love you get is from the minnow support community bot and a 20 SBD vote from Love Juice, and that's enough to keep you around, then I feel like that thing has done its job.
Absolutely. So that's how I started personally. I only came in with a small investment. I used the voting bots. I grew following. Some people liked my posts, and it made me a big believer and now investor in the platform. So I want to help people also do that same thing.
Well, that's awesome. So do I. Well, hopefully you and I can have more conversations. You seem like an excellent guy, and it's nice to meet you. And hopefully you and I can try to kick around some ideas for how we get additional investors, not just users and curators and content creators, but financial folks and investors. And how do we make it so that some teacher pension fund starts thinking, what? We really ought to have Steem as part of this investment. And how do we incentivize that? We're not going to solve that in a 3-minute conversation, but hopefully you and I can continue that conversation.
I would love that. Thank you.
All right. So it looks like Transisto wants to come on. I'm not going to say no to Transisto. So we'll give this a shot. Transisto, do you have a working mic? I have you live on air right now.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, fantastic! So, Transisto, you're one of the most kind of vocal whales that are out there. You have quite a bit of Steem power. You're lending or delegating quite a bit of that to the Utopian project, and it's great to have you here in the Peace, Abundance, and Liberty Network and part of the Steem Growth Forum. So, you're vocal. Tell us what we need to do. You're posting on it, but hopefully you can give us some comments on the posts of what do we need to do to grow this platform and not just grow it, but grow it in a healthy way that supports the quality content that I'm sure you're looking for.
Yeah, I think Steem would benefit greatly from having more unity in the consensus rule to extract good content, like the curation rules and stuff. And and also have an agreement on what are the intent of these consensus rules, the goal of the platform, which is more like a culture, and also that the whales and the witness get to agree on what these are. I know there's a whole lot of like very deep discussion being done with the amongst witness, and it's a subject that's very, very complex. I'm not gonna provide any suggestion how to fix the curation system, but I'd like to return on what the previous guest said about how to bring money into Steem. I think what Steem will gain in value once people are willing to pay more to get on the trending page. So I'm not a big fan of buying votes because it removes some accountability on where the money goes. But I think paying for exposure is what ultimately will bring the value of Steem higher. And I think people should consider way more bringing like people to look at the content on Steem more so than having people on board and like interact so much. Like it's not a good thing, but currently there's friction to be on board, and this is also getting fixed. But I think to also simply is to share the content you create on other social websites, so that we get posts which end up with like 100,000 views or something like that. Like
yeah, you had mentioned something like either upvoting or downvoting trending posts that aren't also putting these things onto other social media. I'm not sure that I want to start a flag war over it, but having it be an expectation that some of our highest rewarded platform authors are running around and also including this either on YouTube, putting this on Twitter, putting it on Facebook, posting an image into their post to show that they're actually helping to spread the word. They're getting paid by this platform, but they're also using their clout to help spread it to other places. Aspects of that I think are actually quite good, and that I think it'll take some of that to help spread our content, in this platform.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the flagging thing. I will start doing like Bernie, like to basically make a post that explain why I flagged this, why I flagged that, and it's gonna make it easier to than having to justify myself to dozens of people individually. But the flagging is just way more efficient because you can either find something not good or you find something good, and when it's just that it has a stigma attached to it, and it's also very expensive to flag because you never get a curation reward for it. Also, you get bad reputation, and instead of getting kickbacks, you get mad people at you. And I think it's really fixing the UI will really improve the acceptance of getting flagged. But like I said, I'm not gonna get into all the ways you can fix the curation system, but it's a big problem.
I do actually know. I've taken mostly a vow of trying never to flag people, but because I think there's often unintended consequences, as you and I have discovered before. But I do actually think it has a pretty strong spot on this platform, and when I look at the content, in my average everyday interactions with people, I have pretty good on blockchain communications with folks, and I think the flag system is part of that when there is a negative consequence to acting like a real shit at times, and that can have financial consequences, I think that there's aspects of flagging that actually keep this place a much friendlier place. And maybe that's hard to get used to, that you have some accountability and responsibility for your actions, but I wouldn't look at you and say every single flag that you do is negative for this platform. I don't believe that. I actually think there's a place for it. So I'm not sure that you and I agree completely on every single flag, but having that discussion of how to flag, how can that benefit the platform, how can we use that for really high quality content discovery, I think that's actually a really good conversation. And so I'm glad that I know you're taking a bit of a beating for taking the stance.
No, not at all. I actually enjoy it almost.
Yeah.
It teaches people people they just have a bad perception of it. But I'd like to differentiate between two kinds of flag. Because it's very easy to flag something and hiding it. And so it'd be great if there was maybe a button to flag to 0, just to take the reward and not actually censored. So that's why I use tools to try to make it from, let's say, $20 to $4, or make sure that it doesn't go negative.
Okay. Well, Transisto, I think that's our time. Thank you. Do you have one last closing thought that's maybe a little bit more uplifting than a flag discussion that you'd like to share about Steem Growth before I take you off air?
No, I'm very excited about all the developments going on in Steem. I think there's a new application being developed every day, and it's very hard to keep up. And it shows that it's one of the best blockchain to build on top of it.
All right. Well, you were just listening to Transisto. I think this is going to mark the end of our Steem Growth Forum. As I'm scrolling through the MSP Waves radio channel, there's just a ton of folks that have been here. We must have spoken. This show has been going on for a little over 2 hours with a 20-minute intermission. Sorry about that. But it's been phenomenal, and I feel like we've heard from some great witnesses. It was wonderful to hear Tim Cliff and to have Block Trades, Luke Stokes. It's hard not to think that we have a really great, passionate, highly talented community. It seems like we got some great utopian style open source projects that are going to keep getting funded. And I do think that that we have a strong future with this platform. And hopefully people can come out of this feeling pretty good about this place, feeling like there's a lot of good projects that are out there, feeling like there are some ways to get involved, and feeling like that growth is coming, that we're on the right track. And then hopefully we still have some new ideas that we can explore of how we can make that even more possible. So I'm committed to keep using this radio station and this Peace, Abundance, and Liberty Discord room that I helped found to continue these conversations. I will look forward to additional forums. If you'd like to talk to me and use my reach to help spread the word, I do have my own radio shows every Sunday night from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern, and everybody is welcome there. It is not quite as specific as a Steem Growth Forum, but I do try to make a way that we can all communicate. And I'll do my best to keep providing a platform and a space for the witnesses and the whales, and for the Steem Inc. employees and the Discord hosts, for us all to have some kind of common forum, some kind of common place where we can get together and talk. And clearly this has been pretty successful if you look at the names that have participated and the folks that have been in the audience. So with that, I'm going to close this down. I guess I'll play music for maybe 20 minutes or something just to have a little fun while the DJ room is good. But it's just been pretty awesome to have you guys here, and I just want to thank you all. It's been a good Steem Growth Forum, and I'm really proud of this place. I'm really proud of this community, and I look forward to future growth. And thanks so much. And for my final push, please vote my witness. All right, guys, this is awesome. Wonderful to have you. I'm going to go stop the recording right now, and